days ago, I had a little bit of flu. I was seriously under the weather. Couldn't do anything, even though I still tried to make some videos here and there, but it was just a hard grind, you know. It was crazy, but I'm so happy today. We are back again. Things are pretty much back on autopilot, and we are already on the way to making sure that all what we lost, all the transactions that we couldn't consummate, you know, last week, we are going to bring them back. All right. Right now, I'm already coming back from a pickup. I went ahead to pick up two decent, you know, Lenovo ThinkStation PCs. The beautiful thing is that the young man in this case was actually open for negotiations. You see, sometimes when you go to make pickups, it's not always so easy. You know, the people are just not so open to want to negotiate. They want to tell you that, hey, didn't you see the price on the listing before coming over? But this guy, even though the price was already stated, I still did ask him, is there still something you can do? And I was just waiting for that moment where he was going to say yes. And immediately somebody says yes, man, that's a win. It's literally you just getting money in your pocket, because you make money at the point of buying these stuffs. So when he said he was willing to go 50 euros lesser, I was already happy, because on these PCs, the way it stands, even with the original price, I was already sure to make, you know, 150 euros profit on both of them. So it was already good enough. But then going additional 15 euros, you know, under the price also gives me a better situation, you know, a better position to actually fight, you know, with the current market price. How do I know these things will sell? Because I have sold these PCs before. These are Lenovo ThinkStation P330, an entry-level workstation, decent processor, you know, 32 GB of DDR4 RAMs, 512 GB of SSD, PC looking complete, but just a little bit of scratches here and there, nothing dramatic, but it is what it is. Like I always say on this channel, when you go out to sell used PCs, you are going with the understanding that these are not new PCs. Of course, I know this, but sometimes on the other end, the buyers, from my experience, not every buyer understands that these are used PCs. I mean, I kind of feel like these buyers sometimes, they go ahead onto eBay, they order these PCs for very good prices, for out of the world configurations. And when the PC arrives, they are kind of expecting to get a new PC. And I don't know where this came from, but it's just not possible to get new PCs, you know, for this price. You know, I imagine that every buyer should actually know that. These are decent PCs, like I said, little bit of scratches here and there, but nothing dramatic. It should be good to go. What I need to do is to go to the warehouse, take a look at it, test it, even though this young man has told me that, look, you have no reason to worry. These were PCs that were being used for home office, and until today, these PCs were still in operation, and there's actually no reason to worry if they're going to work, if the fan is going to be defective, because when we buy in large quantities from suppliers, sometimes these are some of the things that we get to see. Overall, the PCs are in good condition, but when you begin to test them one after the other, you realize that some of them have faulty fans. Nothing also dramatic, because you can also go ahead and change it, but that's not the intention. These ones, when I say they are good to go, they are good to go. So all I pretty much need to do is to clean them. I still have photographs of this PC, so I do not have to make new photographs, which makes it very, you know, very easy. And this is what I always tell you guys: when you decide to sell PCs, when you have a particular model of PC, go ahead and make good photos. And when that PC sells, do not just delete the photos, because I understand that some of you have problems with your PCs. You do not have space. You're always trying to clean up your PCs as much as you can. But then if you have a way of keeping your old photos, you're just going to make things easier for you, because the game of selling PCs is that you are always going to be getting the same PCs over and over and over and again. And the more you can actually store these old photos, these old pictures, as soon as you get the same model of PC, listing just becomes something you can actually handle in a matter of minutes. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the warehouse, you know, bring out these things, clean them properly. Sometimes it might be a little bit dusty, because these sellers, they do not actually know that you also need to clean the inside of the PCs you are selling. Sometimes they just go ahead, take out the hard drives, They dust the PC from the outside, they kind of clean it, and for them, they think that it's already done. But if you were to send a dusty PC to an eBay buyer, man, that buyer is going to come back and bite you. I've seen situations where buyers go ahead to write, yes, the PC was delivered very fast, PC is in good working condition, but the PC has actually not been cleaned, and that's not a good review to get on an eBay shop. If there's anything, you could get a negative review for something else, for delayed shipping, for item not as described, but then to get a negative review because the item wasn't cleaned, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. That's something that can actually put your shop on full blast, because some of these buyers, before they go ahead to buy expensive items, they typically want to check, the review or the rating of the seller. Yes, if you are buying things for like $1, $2 items, $10 items, it really doesn't make sense to begin to check the rating or the review on the particular account. But then if you have to part with 440 euros of your hard-earned money for a PC, I really want to think that you will have just 1 minute to just take a look if the seller is in good standing, if there are negative reviews bordering on, delayed shipments, quality of the materials. So I kind of feel very pained whenever I get a negative review or a neutral review, especially a review that is not a clear reflection of what actually happened. All right, this is what it is. It has happened. There's nothing I can do about that. So the beautiful thing is that I have another opportunity now with these 2 decent Lenovo ThinkStation PCs. I'm going to take them to the warehouse, clean them up, and make sure I do what I have to do as quickly as possible to ensure that the PCs, are listed. Of course, if you are wondering now, Hardwareflipper, where did you get these PCs? There's a website called Kleinanzeigen. If you live in Germany, you pretty much know this website. It used to be eBay Kleinanzeigen a long time ago. Then eBay pretty much had this website. It was a classified ad for those that just wanted to sell locally. They didn't want to be involved with shipping items or stuff like that. But I think about a year ago, eBay sold this website. So eBay kind of pulled out of it, but the name remained as Kleinanzeigen, no longer eBay Kleinanzeigen. So sometimes there are still a lot of people that still feel comfortable selling their stuff on this website. They don't want to be involved with shipping items. They don't want to be involved with, writing these legal terms like terms and conditions. They do not want to be involved with refund and stuff like that. And they just want to list their items. People come over to buy them, pick them up, and that's the end of the transaction. Sometimes they even write very clearly on the description that this is a private purchase. There's no refund. There's no guarantee, nothing like that. All right, because I have previous experience with this website, every now and again, I always try to want to take a look because I'm aware that, yes, there are a lot of good transactions that can also go down there. The only downside is that if you have to buy 10 pieces from this website, that would presuppose that you have to go to 10 different addresses, to pick up these pieces. And sometimes if you are a very busy person like myself, it could be a major bottleneck. But sometimes there are still people that have like 2, 3, even 4 pieces of a particular pieces to sell. And whenever I see, transactions like that, I just want to take a closer look, sometimes send a message. And if everything is right, I just go ahead and pick them. And the beautiful thing is that there are also some companies that are also just comfortable, selling their stuffs on this Kleinanzeigen website. All right, this is just one source of getting these computers. Of course, there's a Facebook marketplace that you can actually go to search for different hardwares like this. Yes, it is what it is. Like I always say on this channel, if you stay long enough in this game, you are definitely going to be building contacts here and there. And the more contacts you build, you just increase the likelihood that you get stuff to sell, on eBay. So these 2 right here, they have been sold. They're going to be shipped out today. These are the 2 that are left. Unfortunately, this one right here was sold for 440 euros, but the buyer canceled the transaction. It has since been refunded. So I still have 2 left. As soon as I finish shipping these 2 right here, I'm going to take these 2 and list them back again on eBay. And these 2 right here are the 2 new arrivals to the warehouse. So what that means is that I have a lot of work to do today. Guys, when I picked up this PC, of course, I knew it was a little bit, dirty inside. I did open it at the seller's place just to take a look at the inside, and I saw that it was dirty, but yes, give and take, I didn't really go deeper to take a closer look. I underestimated how dirty, this PC was inside. This PC is pretty much, fried. The inside is terribly, terribly dirty. You see, when I brought it home, I said, okay, let me take a look at what is inside actually and see to what extent, the dust has taken over the PC. See, that is the SSD right there. You can't even see it. Everything is all covered in dust. And if you take a look at the power supply here, it's all manner of, crazy dust. I don't know where this PC was working, how on earth this PC was ever used. I'm just going to show you, a little bit of what I mean. I have to really cover my nose as to prevent any form of infection. You see, I'm just recovering from a flu and I wouldn't want, to be reinfected again. Definitely, this is not all. A little bit of dust is out, but I definitely need to get, a nose mask tomorrow from the shop, because there's just no way I'm going to continue doing this. Otherwise, I'm going to fall sick again, and I do not want that, to happen. I can already feel that my voice is, getting a little bit husky again. This is absolutely unacceptable. All right, that brings me to exactly what I would like to talk about. So guys, now here is the rule of thumb. Whenever anything appears too good to be true, it's probably not true. See, this PC right here was so cheap, and even though I did check it, but it is what it is. I always know that when things are so cheap, always watch out for something that possibly isn't right. And the same holds for computers, for books, for clothing. It doesn't matter what item you are sourcing for. When you go out to source and you see the item in question and you say, why is this item so cheap? Yes, of course, you're not going to be asking these questions like in a way to try to make the item not buyable, but always take a minute or two to ask yourself, why is this item so cheap? And look deeper, and the more you look, you are definitely going to find something that is not right. This PC is terribly messed up inside. Of course, I'll be able to clean it, but it's just going to take extra time for me. I'm practically going to bring out everything. I'm going to unscrew the SSD. I'm going to unscrew the power supply, possibly take out the main board, just to be sure that the PC is thoroughly cleaned. You see, I participate in the eBay Refurbished program, and on no account can I ship off items like this to whoever, even though the person is going to buy it for cheap. It just makes no sense, but it is what it is. I am going to go ahead and clean these pieces. Just not this one. Both of them are pretty much like that. I have absolutely no idea, where or in what condition the PC, was used. A long time ago, I also bought a PC that was also very cheap. When I bought it, I took a look at this PC, and this PC obviously had no defect. I looked at it in and out. The PC was looking very, very clean. Inside was clean, and I was really wondering, how is it that this PC is so cheap? Is it really true that the seller doesn't have the slightest idea what he was selling? But then I asked questions, and the buyer said, no, this is a good PC. He just upgraded and wanted to sell it. Okay, I went ahead, I bought it. And then I brought this PC home. I rechecked. I didn't seem to find where the problem was with this PC, but something kept telling me that this PC was so cheap, especially when it's coming from a private hand. It's possibly something somewhere. Of course, I did my due diligence, checked it, rechecked, everything was fine, went ahead, listed it on eBay, and then the PC obviously sold because the price was very cheap. And then came the day I was supposed to set up the PC and ship it off, only for me to open the PC, trying to install the NVMe SSD. If you know what I'm talking about, on the NVMe SSD is a small little screw that holds it down. I do not have any here to show you, but there's a small little screw that you use in holding down the NVMe SSD, and this screw screws onto the screw hole, and this screw hole is just a little metal with some thread around it. Guys, would you believe that this little screw on the main board was gone? It didn't occur to me that this was a possibility on a PC. Even though I had looked at it, it's so small screw that you don't really see it, except when you want to screw something into the hole and then you realize that this screw is gone. You see, because of that, I had to change the whole transaction. I had to install, a normal SATA SSD on the PC, and then wrote the buyer of the PC that, look, this is not coming with an NVMe SSD as advertised, but if you wouldn't mind, I could give you a discount of 20 euros if you would like to have it. Fortunately enough, the buyer did keep the PC. So what am I driving at? When prices appear too good to be true, always ask questions. There's definitely something that might not be right with the item. Yes, it is what it is. I wouldn't let this spoil my day. Right now, I'll be going to the post office to ship these two pieces off. It's almost 4:30. I'm definitely going to be coming back to the warehouse, but not to do anything serious. I'm just going to check my mails. If there's a little video I need to knock off, I'll go ahead and knock it off. Otherwise, I'm going to be seeing you guys again tomorrow.